Cowboy Nation, I'm going to make this video and then I'm going to go to bed because I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow and this week. Dak Prescott is going to be out multiple weeks due to the injury that he suffered against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that atrocious game from the offense, especially Dak Prescott. And yeah, he's going to be missing a lot of time and he's going to require surgery. I don't know the extent of the injury. I have a medical knowledge, but I haven't looked into any of that yet. So, but from what it sounds like, he's going to be out multiple weeks, and there's already a lot of Cowboys fans saying the season's over. We can't win anything without Dak and all this stuff, and that might be true to some point. But I'm just going to say this before I get into it. I do hope Dak Prescott's surgery goes okay. I do hope that he does have a speedy recovery. I mean that. I really do. I hope Dak Prescott does recover. But now I'm going to get into my point. What exactly was Dak Prescott doing for us anyways? We struggled against an average Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary, and then people are making all kinds of excuses saying the offensive line is terrible, we don't have that great of a receiving core, all this stuff. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott, for the most part, had plenty of time to throw the football. He had more than good enough protection. He was only sacked 2 times. The offensive line did its job until the fourth quarter, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were blitzing us like crazy, and things just, they started getting up a little bit more sacks. But, Dak wasn't getting sacked 7 times like Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford. Those guys were running for their lives. They got sacked 7 times. He only got sacked twice in this entire game. Only 2 times he got sacked. So, what exactly was he doing for us to begin with? He was struggling to hit wide open receivers. He had plenty of time to throw the ball, and he was holding on to the ball. He was throwing ball into triple coverage, trying to force stuff. He was not playing that great to begin with. And, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have a good front seven. I mean, Shaq Barrett and Vita Vea, those guys are talented. They're good players. But they don't have that great of a secondary. And Dak Prescott is supposed to be this $40 million elite quarterback. Some people are delusional enough to think he's elite. To, elevate the team. He didn't look anywhere close to that, man. He was missing wide open receivers. Heck, Cooper Rush came into the game and looked better than Dak. Even Cooper Rush last year against the Minnesota Vikings, who were not that terrible of a team, they were 8-9, threw for over 300 yards and threw 3 touchdowns and won us the game with the same receiving core that Dak had. He even looked somewhat decent. Actually, he looked pretty decent behind the same offensive line and with the same receiving core as Dak did last year. He even looked good. So how good is Dak Prescott really? I don't know. I used to think Dak Prescott was an above average to good quarterback that with a lot of help can put up top 10, maybe top 5 numbers at best. Now I'm starting to realize he's really just an average quarterback that got overpaid, that needs a lot of help to even function properly. So I don't know if the season's over. I don't expect us to do anything, especially the way that we played and the lack of discipline from Mike McCarthy's teams. But Cooper Rush looked better than Dak Prescott tonight. He did. When he came in, he looked better. He was moving the ball. He was taking chances. He was playing pretty well. He was actually playing pretty well. And honestly, I think that Cooper Rush, I don't think he's going to be like a Tony Romo or a Kurt Warner. I'm not that delusional, but from what I saw on the offensive line, the one thing they are really good at is run blocking. Ezekiel Elliott actually ran really well when given the chance. When we weren't committing penalties or doing stupid stuff, the offensive line did pretty good in the run blocking situation. They did. They did a good job run blocking. The offensive line did. They got some talent when it comes to run blocking. If we can become a run-first team with the talent of Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, and the offensive line really excelling at run blocking, because I think they did. They did really well in run blocking against Tampa Bay's front seven. and Cooper Rush can just play so-so. I'm not asking Cooper Rush to be a all-pro. If he can just be a game manager and we can run the football with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard and utilize that run game, I actually think that we still got a chance. I really do. People might call me delusional, saying, "Oh, Dallas fan, you're so delusional. We don't have any chance without Dak." Again, what was Dak doing before? And second of all, if we can run the rock with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, and Cooper Rush can just do the bare minimum, kind of like what he was doing tonight, making the throws he needs to make, which Dak wasn't making tonight. If he can just do that, I think we still have a shot. I'm not saying like deep playoff run, no. But to like have a somewhat successful season, I think we still got a shot. I do. If Cooper Rush can just play average football and we can utilize the run game with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, who's to say we couldn't win 9 games? Who's to say we couldn't do something? Wouldn't it be something if we did that and Cooper Rush actually played well for a while? And then it really would be sad because it's like we paid Dak Prescott all that money and he's not playing, and then he's getting outplayed by a guy that's making less than $1 million a year. So I think that'd be something. Do I expect it? No, I don't expect us to do that. But I think that there's a chance that if Cooper Rush can just be a game manager type quarterback, make the throws he's got to make, do what he's got to do, and we can dominate with the run blocking offensive line that we got and the talent with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard that we got, that we can still make some noise. Now, it's going to be tough. The NFC East is good. The Commanders, they look good, man. The Giants, they look good. The Eagles, they look really good, man. They really do. They're solid teams. They're going to be tough. So it's not going to be easy, but I do believe it's possible. Call me delusional, call me, all this stuff, but I think that there's a chance. I don't think it's big. I don't expect it. I don't expect it, but I think there's a chance. That's all I got to say, Cowboy Nation. Hope you all have a good night.